Welcome to Down the Sideline, live on Twitch, where you can scratch your itch. Courtesy of Opie. And I couldn't help myself for that beautiful joke that I stole from him. All right, what were the games of last week? Where were we right and where were we wrong, boys?
All right, games last week: Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, BYU, UCLA, Ole Miss, Alabama, and Auburn, LSU. Yeah, our picks last week were bad. Mike, you were 3-1. I was 2-2. Ope, you were 3-1. Overall, we're batting about 500. Mike's the only one with over 500. He's 4-3. Me and Ope are 3-4.
I don't even remember I didn't write down my picks for the first week. I don't even know what they were.
I got them. Don't worry about that. I keep track of all that stuff. So right off the bat, Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, we were all wrong. All of us. Way wrong.
Was that a Thursday night game that I watched?
No, that was an early Saturday. It was at the same time as the LSU beatdown.
That's right. I missed. Was it the same time as LSU? I missed the Notre Dame one. Auburn looks awful. And one of the things I wanted to talk about, they're switching up their quarterback this week.
So who's starting?
It's not Johnson.
Sean White.
The snowboarder?
Close.
He could do as good as Johnson's done.
Yeah, Jeremy Johnson's bench was a sure sign of that. Instead, the running backs have taken the lead. He's bad. Like Leonard Fournette, a beast. I'm talking about the real beast mode. That's Leonard Fournette.
Did you see his very first run of the game, 73-yard run?
No, did you see the one at like whatever that was in the second half where he like spun moved two guys out of their shoes, ran over a safety like he was a little girl, and then sprinted to the end zone?
He had a highlight reel game against a ranked number 18 Auburn. They look like they should have been like an FCS team.
They should have been ranked because they look bad. It's one of those games where you turn to it, and then when the first like 6 or 8 minutes of the game, you're like, no. No, not going to happen today.
Well, it's like anytime he ran the ball, it was a highlight reel. He like did one where he straight up threw the corner into another defender, like threw him into the other guy, and they like went to tackle him, and it was a big pile. He got pushed out of bounds. He still didn't even go down.
With that in mind, all of us pray to the college football gods that Ole Miss can keep playing good. Please be undefeated. LSU, be undefeated. Give us an undefeated Ole Miss and an undefeated LSU.
They play each other the second to last game of the regular season.
So, do you guys think that Ole Miss is a little overrated after the win this week?
Absolutely. See, I didn't agree with them jumping up 12 spots. Heck no. Heck no.
No, that's no. Like I don't agree with that either.
That's what I meant when they were overrated. They should not have jumped 12 spots, and Alabama should not have dropped 10 spots. The game was not that lopsided where that big of a jump should have happened. Like maybe 4 or 5, yeah, but 10 to 12, heck no.
All right, moving along.
How about those Huskies, though?
That's what I was going to say. I was just about to say, hey, we've spent enough time in the SEC. Let's move somewhere else.
I think that Husky game, I think this just goes to show that, because, you know, we ripped Florida State last year for struggling to win games all season long against bad teams. I think it just really shows how hard it really is to go back-to-back and go either undefeated or one loss and get back to the championship game. That it's not easy because everybody's coming after you.
Ohio State come out and went, we're Ohio State. Everybody else is just going to fucking lay down. We don't have to come out here and play. Well, that's not the case, and other teams are going to play you hard, so you need to come out with the same enthusiasm and energy. BYU UCLA was another game. What do you guys think about that one?
That came down to the wire, dude. I get a lot of praise for that UCLA quarterback because he's a freshman, man. And I was reading about it earlier today. They were like, week 1, he shined. He played like a senior quarterback. And he hasn't been able to play like that since. And then I saw where the coach Mora, he was like, this was the first game where they threw multiple defenses at him. And he said half the time I didn't even know what they were running. And it was a good test for him. And it definitely showed his, I don't want to say immaturity, but his lack of maturity as a quarterback again in the college level when he just couldn't complete the passes he needed to. He got the win. That's what matters, but too many stupid mistakes.
Well, you got to remember, UCLA was down by 10 in the fourth quarter. I think they were down by 10 to start the fourth quarter, maybe. No, they're down by 7 to start the fourth quarter, and they kicked the field goal and was up by 10. They were down by 10. But, you know, I think the last couple of years, this is the kind of game that UCLA has lost, is games like that. And I thought it was great that they finally won one that they needed to.
Is there any games anybody wants to talk about for a little while that we're not, going to talk about once we get to the picks?
Well, the game that I want to talk about, man, I'll probably do it all season long, the Texas game for this week. This is a good game I wanted to go to. I was seriously looking at getting tickets for this game, but I'm not spending $200 sitting in nosebleeds. But they showed up last week. They showed up without a severely missed extra point, which I don't understand. That poor guy. They would have tied and gone to overtime at the very least. Like, they fought back and almost won that game. That right there, they played Cal, who's on top of their conference or their division in the Pac-12 right now. They're undefeated. But I mean, it's everybody said Texas wasn't going to win that game. There wasn't going to be a contest in that game, and they came within 1 point. I think that shows that game shows what they can be in a year or two, given Strong his chance. I mean, granted, Hurd should have been starting all year long, but given his chance, Texas can be a good team. Just give it some time, and that was a bright point for them this season, and they needed that game to like keep their jobs essentially.
One of the games that I want to talk about, and I'm kind of on a Tennessee deal, which is weird because that's the team I'm on playing with now in the Subscriber Dynasty. Tennessee's pretty good. I know they lost the game. It was a tough game. But I still think Tennessee hasn't been relevant like forever in the SEC. Kind of like Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is here now. I think Tennessee is kind of like one of those teams. And I asked Chef to look it up for me because I was driving earlier, but Tennessee hasn't went into Gainesville and beat the Gators since 2003. That's the year I graduated high school, okay? I'm going to be 31 in November, okay? That's over a decade. And if you split that in half, that's 6 games that they haven't went into Gainesville and lost because they play, I think they alternate, right? So it's 6 or 7 games that they've went into Florida and lost. In Florida, yeah, they were really good when Tebow was there, but that's right around the 2003, 2005 time. But Tennessee was pretty good then, too. They were kind of good then, like I mentioned in the last episode. I don't know if it made it to the YouTube one or not, but that's kind of the perk of being here, is you get to hear all this extra stuff. But Eric Berry and all those really defense, they were really good then. But Tennessee's going to go into Florida, and they're going to get the first win in Gainesville in over 10 years. And it's a huge rivalry, Tennessee-Florida. It's a big deal. So I'm looking forward to watching that game.
So you're saying Tennessee's going to beat Florida this week?
Yes.
Do you think that the chances increase since the Florida is sitting, was it their starting cornerback as well as their quarterback or one of their quarterbacks for violating, the Harris failed a drug test and their starting corner refusal to take a drug test. Both got suspended for 1 game this week. No,
and see, I didn't even know that because I haven't paid attention to Florida. And really, I don't talk about teams that are like my personal favorite teams that I like. I like Florida. You know, I really don't care all that much about Tennessee or Ole Miss. I really don't have like a favorite team. I loved Florida when Tebow was there. Tebow, way back when, was the reason I started watching college football because I never watched it. And I thought, who's the sophomore guy that stiff-arming linebackers in the face? I'm like, this is very, very entertaining. And because of him, that's what started me watching college football more than the NFL. But and so ever since then, I've really liked the Florida Gators and like secretly like, you know, really pull for them to win games and stuff.
Jumping back to last week's stuff, our last week poll, we didn't discuss that. It was 8 votes for LSU, 3 votes for Auburn on who was going to win. So 73% of the people were right. Did you find a comment that you liked from last week's video?
No, but I can pull one up real quick.
What about Zaccardi's then? That seems to be like the only other one.
Okay, he says, I'd have to go with LSU. I'm not sure if they'll be able to blow out Auburn, only because the athletes of Auburn defense, meaning that they won't give up too many big plays. Okay, sorry, dog, you were wrong on that one. As for FSU, I definitely believe we're going to win out in the ACC once again. Our defense might carry us to another BCS if we have some divine intervention with the offense. And Everett Golson is a good quarterback. I just think he's still getting used to our system under the bright lights because he has a ton of targets and a Heisman hopeful around him. I will say that Golson won me over a little bit, and I actually put that comment on there 4 days ago that he won me over a little bit. There was that one play close to the goal line. He avoided a spin move. He avoided a couple tackles to get to where he could throw the ball downfield.
Yeah, because Cook was terrible in that game. 50-something rushing yards for the whole game. And you know, Chef, you said last week that without Cook, they wouldn't have won that game last week. Well, this week without Golson, they wouldn't have won that game.
Without their defense, they wouldn't have won that game. I'm still not on Golson.
Well, I mean, you can't take away 11 players, though.
Well, I mean, they shut down Cook. They did a good job shutting down him. It's just they couldn't get anything going on offense. I mean, they did what they should have done to win. Everything was in their favor other than not moving the ball on offense. They did what I said was going to happen, and it worked. But whenever your quarterbacks only throw for 56 yards and your running backs maybe hit 140, you're not going to win any games at playing Division I football doing that. Maybe Zaccardi's right. Golson's just working into the system. But as of right now, like I said before, and I'll say it again, you shut down Cook, you got a good shot to win the game. Obviously, it didn't happen last week because their offense didn't do anything. Boston College didn't do anything on offense. But they did their job on defense. Other than, I mean, they gave up 14 points, but whatever. Do you shut down Cook? For right now in the season, Florida State is nothing.
And I can kind of agree with that. And I don't want people to come off saying that or thinking that I'm not trying to bash teams. It's not like I don't have a personal vendetta against Florida State. Just like I ain't got a personal vendetta about Alabama or Florida or whoever. I'm not seeing it from Florida State. I don't. You know, I mean, you're not going to tell me they're as good as last year when they've lost like 3 of the go-to guys.
They're not playing top 10 football right now. They're playing like maybe top 25, like top 20 to 25 football. They're not playing top 10 football.
I mean, I don't think Florida State's played that great this year either, but I think that the difference between this year's team and last year's team is that they didn't give the ball to Davin Cook as much last year as they are going to this year, and he was great last year.
That's because they had Nick O'Leary, that badass tight end, and then they had, what was the other, Rashad Green.
And I get that, but I mean, I think now they're going to take the ball out of Golson's hands more and not make him, like last year, if Winston didn't go out and win the game and get it to those guys, they weren't going to win the game.
So there's a comment that just popped up, brand new one, 20 minutes ago. Nathan Brown said, "Do y'all think that Ole Miss should be number 1?" No.
No, not even remotely close.
They're lucky to be number 3. What were they last week? Do you guys remember?
17 or something like that?
I'm thinking 8 would have been fair. 15, so they went from 15 to 3. Wow, that's a liberal jump. That's a liberal hop and a skip.
So what are our games this week? What do you want to talk about?
That'll segue us into the first game we want to talk about. Number 3 TCU at Texas Tech. All right, what do you guys think about number 3 TCU at Texas Tech?
I gotta say that Cliff Kingsbury has some balls after talking some shit to Arkansas after beating them last week. Him talking about a beat down, I think is what he said on Arkansas.
You think he's gonna put a beat down on TCU?
No.
Do you think Texas Tech can win?
No, I think it'll probably be 56 to 42 or something like that. Yeah, I'm taking TCU, but I think they're going to score in the 90s.
That's close. Okay, I tell you what. This is one of the games we're going to talk about, right, Chef? Keep us on task now.
Yeah, I got you. I got my notepad open. I'm about to write y'all's picks down.
All right, so we got TCU at Texas Tech. I'm picking Texas Tech to win this game. Lubbock, the fan base, they love their football in Lubbock, and I know this. I've been there. Lubbock's a fun place to party. I love Lubbock, Texas. Spent a lot of time, went to college out in West Texas. Fun place. TCU, they had a couple people suspended because of they want to be dumbasses. And if they don't win, it's gonna be like you said, Opie. You hit the hammer on the head of the nail, baby. It's gonna be like 50 to like 53 or some like stupid score like that.
I'm gonna go TCU. It's gonna be a shootout. Whoever plays the best defense wins. And last year, TCU embarrassed Texas Tech, like 82 to 24, something like that. So Texas Tech got some revenge, especially after the Arkansas game. But I'm gonna take TCU on top.
I'm sticking with TCU. Doesn't have a defense. You don't need a defense if you score 45 to 50 points a game. You don't need a defense when you do that. Let's do UCLA, Arizona.
I'm going first. I'm taking charge right here. I'm taking UCLA. I really am. And I picked them all year this year, and I'm going to keep picking them. I think Rawson, whatever his name is, Josh. I think he's going to have a bounce back week after the BCU, after the BYU game. He's going to turn it around, and they're battling it out for top of the South right now. There are 3 undefeated teams, and these are 2 of them. So somebody's got to lose, and I think Arizona's going to do it. They don't have their powerhouse Scooby Wright in the linebacker position. As far as I know, he's still out. So I'm taking UCLA for the win, even though UCLA's got their linebacker, Miles Jack, out for the season with a significant knee injury. So it's going to be whoever doesn't lose wins the game.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know who to take in this game. So before you pick yours, Italian, I want to pick mine so I don't feel like I'm hopping on anyone's bandwagon. And I'm only taking UCLA because I can't name a single person on the Arizona team.
What? A new Solomon, the quarterback?
Okay, Bruce Allman, the quarterback. He's a great kid.
A new Solomon?
Bruce.
Oh, are they playing in Arizona?
In Arizona. Playing in Tucson.
Oh, okay. I'm taking Arizona.
Now you're taking Arizona.
Yeah, just because they're the home team. Yeah, and I'm only taking Arizona because I can't name one person on that UCLA's team.
Yeah, I'm going to take Arizona because they're playing at home.
Y'all going to be wrong.
UCLA always loses the games when they start to peak, it seems like, and get to where they can actually take control. Like last year, we remember last year they needed to win 1 game and they would have been in the Pac-12 championship game, and they lost like the last 3 when they could have sealed it.
Well, Arizona has played UTSA, Nevada, and Northern Arizona University. They haven't played anybody of relevance.
Okay, I might change my pick. All right, Brandon. The next game we're going to talk about is Georgia Tech at Duke. I'm taking Georgia Tech. Okay, we're moving on to Utah at Oregon. All right, who wants to go first?
Wait, I'm confused. I thought we were doing Georgia Tech and 2.
No, that was it. Now I'm done. We're done. We're moving on. It's Duke. We're done with it. Brandon, I'm just kidding. That joke was for you. No, for real. Georgia Tech at Duke. But really, I'm taking Georgia Tech. Yeah, I'm taking Georgia Tech. Duke. Who's Duke? Is it basketball? It's the wrong month. It's not March, is it?
Brandon, I want you to give me a shout out this week, and I'm gonna take Duke just for you.
He will too, dude. He loves it. He loves Duke, man. All the reason I done that was to fuck with him.
I'm taking Duke. They're gonna hit 7 field goals in this game and win.
He's gonna hate you for that, dude. He's gonna hate you for that. He's gonna hate you for that comment, man.
Okay, 6 field goals and 2 touchdowns. They're gonna score 32.
Opie, dude, I'm impressed by that math. That's good.
All in his head. I'm taking Duke because I think Duke's going to win, not just because I want a shout out. Duke's got the 4th best defense for points against in the nation. 4th best. They've only given up on average 8.7 points a game. I'm taking Duke to pull the upset over Georgia Tech. Even though I said Georgia Tech will win the ACC, I'm taking Duke for the upset.
I'm taking Brandon just because he gave me an ESPN stat and because he called Georgia Tech's offense wing T bullshit. That's the only reason.
I saw that.
That's the only reason.
You know, I heard from one of my sources that Georgia Tech was completely scrapping the wing T this week. It didn't work last week. They're going to go with a completely new offense. They're putting it in as we speak.
You heard wrong, dude. Georgia Tech's been running the flex bone or the wing T for like a billion years. All right, are we done with Duke? Like, I'm done.
Let's get the Utes. Let's get the Utes and Coots. Who'd you say?
This our game of the week?
Yeah. Listen, I like Utah. Their defense is hella good. I have a hard time thinking Oregon. I have a hard time thinking that they're going to go into fucking Eugene, Oregon at Outson Stadium, one of the loudest stadiums in college football, and win against Oregon.
I'm the same way, yeah. I think that Chip Kelly's predecessor or possessor, whatever it is, yeah, I think his processor is going to – that Oregon really can't afford to lose this. This is pretty much a life or death for them if they think they're going to get back to the championship playoff. They don't. So I'm picking them because if they lose, they're pretty much done.
All right, I'm going to take Oregon as well. Utah hadn't beat Oregon since 2003, and it's not going to happen this year. Even Oregon or Utah at one point was even ranked number 18 in the nation and couldn't beat Oregon. I don't think they have what it takes. They've been pretty much one-dimensional this season, handing the ball off to Booker. And I don't think the quarterback for Utah is even throwing a touchdown pass. That's pretty lopsided, and against a high-powered offense like Oregon and a high-powered defense like Oregon, that's not going to cut it if you're that one-dimensional. So I'm taking Oregon as well. All right, guys, just a heads up. We are doing the Down the Sideline live now over on Twitch. So if you want to come check it out live, interact with us, send us some comments, whatever, talk to us, give us something to talk about other than us rambling on, then we'll definitely do that. We're going to be here potentially every Thursday if all goes out as planned. If you want to know for sure when we're going to go live, make sure you follow us on Twitter, The Italian, or myself, Lil Chef. We're going to tweet it out whenever we're going to go live. And if we do change it, like this week, we did it on Wednesday instead of Thursday, we'll also tweet it out then.
Right, and there is a bunch of stuff, lots of jokes, lots of stuff like that sometimes don't make the final cut just because I'm the worst person, I'm going to say it right now. I'm the worst person about going on a tangent about shit that don't matter. and if you do come over to Twitch, man, hop in the chat and say something. Don't be scared. There's been some viewers and stuff that have stopped by. I'm seeing the stats on my screen. Don't be afraid to say something. Want some other opinions? Some of you guys that are living in those areas, like Brandon at Duke. He probably knows more about Duke football than I'm ever gonna know. But that's just because he likes Duke and he follows them and he lives over there. And do it up. Come say hi, you bastard.
This is going to be a good week, man. Our picks, there's potential for a lot of pull, like leeway. Like Mike could pull away, or we could catch up and take the advantage. Like there's not the Oregon game is the only one we all picked the same.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up this episode of Down the Sideline. I want to thank Chef and Opie for hanging out with us today.
Thanks.
Yeah, not a problem, man.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Later, guys.